all to Mental Health Indaba. I'm not alone, I'm with my co host, Wandile Mhlongo. This evening, we have a very peculiar guest, Cezanne Elizondi. Mrs. Cezanne Elizondi is a business mentor, life coach, author, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and inspirational speaker. Cezanne has over 20 years of experience in enterprise development, and she made a lasting impact in development finance, entrepreneurship, marketing, leadership, and mentorship. Her impressive background includes working with the Land Bank, APSA Enterprise Development Center, and currently at Mega as a marketing manager. As someone who believes in education and personal development, Cezanne has attained several academic qualifications. She holds an MBA, Executive Leadership Program, a BTech in Marketing Management, Advanced Management Diploma, and a certificate in Project Management. Mrs. Zondi's passion for entrepreneurship propelled her to serve as a mentor for various organizations globally. She has been nominated for several awards and she is also a recipient for numerous awards. She is the founder, CEO, and board member of an NPO known as SARS Foundation. And as I have mentioned earlier, Cezanne is an author, but not just an author of an award winning book titled Mastering Your Business Pitch. As a devoted wife, mother, grandmother, and a Christian at CRC, Cezanne embodies leadership and compassion. Mrs. Cezanne Zondi, good evening and welcome to Mental Health in Daba. How are you doing?
Good evening, my sister is saying thank you for having me. And I thought you'll just read the first part of the profile. That's what we agreed on.
No. I told you to didn't do justice. The first part only. With so much accolades. No.
Anyway, I'm honored to be here and looking forward to having a great conversation.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. This evening, we will be unpacking quite an intriguing topic: the
Mm,
importance of embracing one's individuality in a marriage.
mm,
Now, personally, I believe maintaining one's personality or personal identity in a relationship fosters a sense of independence and self reliance, an independence that can prevent feelings of suffocation and codependency, whereby one partner has to rely on another for everything.
mm,
Now,
mm,
Susanele, many people lose their sense of who they are in a marriage because they have spent many years bending themselves out of shape in an attempt to either please their partner or to be who they think their partner wants them to be. How
mm.
important is maintaining your authenticity in a marriage to you?
I think maybe let me start here. I've been together with my husband now for 25 years.
Wow.
And it's been an interesting 25 years. We are still a boyfriend and girlfriend. That's how we take our relationship, because I think once you lose the relationship, the friendship in a marriage, you just lose yourself. So for us, we decided that, you know what, he called me as Anele, I call him Mdu. So it's when we are around people where we'll be formal, and after that we'll be looking at each other. I'm like, I'm not used to addressing you like that. But I think what works for us, I think it's we understood who we are, and we also understand that I cannot be my husband and he cannot be myself. I think that's what it's very key and what it's important. I think in this day and age, there's so many what influence from social media, different perspectives, people that will tell you that to make a marriage work, this is how you should be. So I always say, before you do, have a conversation. Exactly who are you, Ntabise? What is it that you are looking for in this relationship? So that by the time we go to the altar, we already understand this is who you are, this is your personality, this is what you are looking for, and are you going to compliment me, or else you are going to delay my progress and my goals in the future?
Sure. Wow. Now, you spoke about delay my progress in the future. Now, marriage is an act of compromise from time to time. And I believe the one essential element of marriage is built on two people bringing their unique qualities to their marriage. Like you said, you're not your husband is not yourself. Now, these two unique qualities rather than one person losing themselves in another. Now, in your marriage, what enables you to grow together with your spouse while you continue growing independently as well?
Okay, I think the first thing is we understand that we are not competing, but we complement each other. Immediately, once you compete with your spouse, you are definitely going to lose yourself in the marriage. So my husband understands my personality. I'm a very outgoing person. I'm social. He is totally different like that. It's rare to see him in any event. It's rare to see him outspoken. So we understand each other. We complement each other. We also share the same goal. At the end of the day, if I succeed or if he succeeds, it's for the betterment of the family. So it's very, very important that you understand before you get married that this is not about you. If you want to do Ntabiseng, don't get married. If it, or it must always be you, this is what I want. But at the end of the day, this is what I want for the family. As much as the accolades, the recognition, it's in my name. But at the end of the day, when they say Mrs. Zondi, who's Mrs. Zondi? It's Mr. Zondi. So he carries the glory. He's the one who's more proud of my success and achievement more than myself. So he's my best cheerleader.
Wow. Sure. I think we've started this conversation on a very high note. I'm just going to let my co host, Wandile Mhlongo, to also join in. Wandile, good evening.
Good evening, Tabiseng, and good evening to Mezanele. Thank you so much again for joining us tonight for such an important, discussion, maintaining your individualism in a marriage. Now, Mezanele, please maybe help us understand what role has communication played between you and your spouse in maintaining mutual respect for each other's individuality?
Thank you, and good evening, Wandile. I think when we got married, I used to like to type instead of speaking, expressing myself verbally. So I'll type these
Mm,
long messages to my husband. And what he will do, because he's not outspoken like me, he'll just keep quiet, allow me to calm down, and then he'll read when I'm happy. He'll type back at, hey, remember this day, this is what you were saying. So I realized that no, I'm giving him a weapon now. He always remind me, said, I remember in January 2020, you said this, and now we are changing from what you are saying. So I've learned that, you know what, he can never understand unless I express myself. Where am I not comfortable?
mm,
What is it that I'm looking for? So he is my best friend in a way that when I'm not when I'm angry at work, when I'm frustrated, he's the first person that I look forward to coming back home to and share. This is what has happened in my life. When I feel I'm stagnant in my career or in my ambition, I'll always go back to him and say, you know what, this is what I want to achieve, but I feel like I cannot see the progress, and be like, no, I've been noticing your progress. It's just you are the one who's driving this goal. You feel like you are being stagnant. For me, as someone who's outside and looking at you from the outside, is able to see that there is growth. So I've learned that open your mouth. If you don't want to speak in a marriage, you are already in the recipe for a disaster and a divorce. So also understand each other. You cannot, I always say you need to be a good listener, because if we are having a conversation, but I'm the only person who keeps on firing, this is what I want, this is what I said I want, and now it's 20 years down the line and I don't see you doing, you are not supporting me. But I don't sit down and say, by the way, why do I feel like you're not supporting me? Why am I not feeling your presence in my life? Where is it that it's lacking? Or how can I bring you on board to make sure that at the end of the day, I feel that I'm still myself, also you are there, and you are supporting each other. So we have to communicate, we have to speak, and we must be calm at all time.
mm, hmm. Wow, and maybe how do you cultivate a strong sense of, of self outside the marriage in such a way that you remind yourself that I was me before we were
Okay.
we?
I think before we do, with my husband, we actually, I used to say, I didn't understand that you really wanted to marry me or not. Because when he met me, he got closer to my big sister, my elder sister, and he will take her out at times. And like, I think, and he will, when she comes back, I'm like, I think this guy wants you. Why is he taking you out? But he said he knew that I was not going to be honest. So my sister knew me better, and he wanted to understand Sezanele from my sister's perspective rather than me telling him. Because you know, when it's rosy, you are trying to impress someone, you'll be like well behaved.
Mm.
He will ask you, what do you like? I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, whatever you like, Baba. But once you are married, it's no longer whatever you like, Baba. And now you've changed. So he had
Yeah.
to understand my personality. So we agreed, this is where I am, this is where I want to see myself. So each and every year we sit down, not only now, because now there are children involved, and we ask them, what is it that you want to achieve this year? How do we support you as your parents? And that's the conversation that we always have with my husband. What is it that you want to achieve this year, and how do I support you as your husband? I remember when I wanted to do my MBA, the same year I fell pregnant with our last born. We had to take a very difficult decision. MBA, it's very taxing, it's a very difficult. If you are pregnant, are you going to cope with your studies? How am I expecting him to support me so that I don't drop out? And we agreed, both of us, that I don't want to drop out. You need to now come up and support me all the way. When I feel my assignment is due, I fall asleep, I want to wake up at 2. You are responsible for waking me up at 2 so that I complete my task. So it's all about working together.
Huh.
Oh.
This is very interesting when you speak about working together, because I just wonder, couples are different and people are different as
Mm.
couples. Now, what advice would you give to couples that struggle with one partner feeling left behind while the other pursues their ambitions? You just spoke now about your
Mm.
MBA. What would you say to such couples where one is feeling insecure and like they're
Yeah.
stagnant?
I think also it goes back to understanding that we are there for the same goal. We are there to complement and support each other. Immediately when you get married, I think you then make an informed decision to say, whatever it's yours, it's mine. It doesn't mean only the materialistic things. It means my stress
Mm.
is yours. It means my success are yours. It means my failures are yours. Then how then are we going to reach a point where I feel like you are more successful than the other? I've learned that all the accolades, all the titles, when I come home, they don't matter. When I come home, I'm a wife, I'm a mother. I cook, I clean, I do laundry. I'm submitting under the authority of my husband. At no particular point, I'll be saying, Pella, I'm a founder of an organization. What about you? But at the end of the day, when we need to do all those charity, whose money are we using? It's our money and it's his money at the end of the day. If he was not supportive of that vision, it will not have been sustainable for 10 years. So you will never lose yourself if you understand each other. So you have to be a team at all times.
Hmm. Speaking about working as a team, how do couples, handle conflict when personal ambitions seem to clash with marital responsibilities? How do we handle
Okay.
that?
I think like I said, that you don't you cannot have a title. Most of the conflict, they come when one loses their position. And then I want to, maybe let's say I have a position at work, I earn more than my husband, and then I'm bringing it at home, like I'm the one who's paying for the car, I'm the one who's paying for the bond. Especially if your partner like, I always say, I might be an entrepreneur, but I'm an entrepreneur who's having an 8 to 4, because I'm a cushion, I'm a financial cushion for the family. But my husband, he's a full-time entrepreneur, which means there are days when the business is going bad, when he's not making any income from his side. I am not at any particular point going to make him feel like he's not a provider as a man. And we've teach our children that, you know what, whatever you want financial, you ask your dad. So it has always been like that, because money is with dad. And your mother doesn't have money. So you are not going to experience any conflict if you understand your roles. You also understand that God has created you to support. You know, when God created a man, he said it is not good for a man to be alone. I'm going to then create a suitable helper. So I'm here to assist and help my husband. So why then do I want to compete with him? While I understand my position, I'm here to support you. What is your vision? Where do you want to take the family? How then do I contribute to make sure that the family grows together?
This is very interesting. And as people, we are constantly
Mm,
evolving. We encounter experiences that enhance our personalities. We learn and grow all the time. Therefore, our identities look different with every experience, especially experiences that are shaping our interests and
mm.
pursuits. As you encounter different levels of growth, how do you ensure that your individuality does not come across as selfish or being too self absorbed to your
Okay.
partner?
I think myself and my husband were two different people. Actually, I always wonder how did we end up being married and together for such a long time? And I then understand that it's because we are two different people. Where he is having a weakness, I have a strength. Where he's having a strength, I have a weakness. In that way, we are able to build and sustain our family. So what is very important when you are building a family, and making sure that you don't lose yourself. We understand, where am I in life, whether in my career, whether in my spiritual growth, whether in my social life, and where is he also, and how then do we make sure that we don't strain the family? Because most of the time, what couples do, the other one will strain the family to a certain point that the other one feels like, I cannot take this anymore. You are yourself. When you get married, it's no longer about me. Wherever I go, I always say to my husband, people, they don't even know my maiden surname anymore. They only know me as Mrs. Zondi. Really, it's like you've consumed the person that I was, because I allowed him to consume me, and then submit under him. And that, I think, it what built a very strong background of any relationship. Also, having a conversation. Exactly, where do you see yourself in a year's time? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? So that we understand where we are and where you are going to. Don't just come up and you wake up and say, boom, today I think I feel like I want to be a sangom. And my husband, like, what? You have a calling now, a spiritual calling. How do I support? Or I wake up and, oh, now I think I want to be a partner. I'm resigning from my full time work. I'm opening a church. Those conversations, and when you are together, you get to even see where this person is heading, so that you are able to then address that before it gets out of hand.
And what advice do you have for young couples that are starting out, especially women, in maintaining their voice and individuality in a marriage?
Don't get married if you don't want to be led. So it's very important, because once you are married, definitely are led. There are events, there are places where I want to go to. Once my husband says no, it's a no, whether it's a family gathering or not. I think what is most difficult for young women in this day and age, you are now financially stable and independent. So before, when our parents were getting married, they were full-time housewives. So your husband will go to work, come back and provide for you. But in this day and age, when I got married, I always say to my husband that I was driving myself. I came here with my own car. I had my own property. So young women, they take having achieved the achievement as being, then you are in an equal position as your husband or your spouse. So don't get married, like I said, if you don't want to be led to. Don't get married if you don't want to compromise. Marriage is all about compromise. Each and every day we're compromising. Each and every day we are trying to make sure that the other partner feels seen, feel heard, and also feel being supported each and every time.
That's very important, to be seen and to be heard. Now, I want to bring another perspective into the conversation. How important are boundaries in a marriage? And what lesson have you learned about balancing family responsibility and personal identity? And then there's an issue of relatives and family members and in laws. How do you set boundaries concerning those people? I am your little sister, I'm in Tabising. I come to you all the time, or I expect you to give me a certain amount of money every single month because you were doing that when you were single before prior to marriage, and now post marriage I'm also expecting you to do the same thing. How important are boundaries in the marriage?
I think for me, I always say my husband was a blessing because I love to give. Everyone will call me, Taviseng will call and say, "Oh, Sissy, please, can I borrow 500 rand?" I won't think twice, I'll just give you. And then another relative will come, "Hey, Sissy, there's a funeral this week." And then I'm in the car, full tank, let's go, and then go there. Until to a certain point, my husband asked me, "Where do you get all this money?" Like they can invite you to go and speak. You don't even ask for fuel or anything. You are there. Like when you're looking at your finances, can you afford? Because you are paid on the 30th, but the 5th you are broke. It's because you are financial management and discipline is not your strength. And he said, you know what? Because you don't like to disappoint people, you are too kind. So everyone, when they ask something, whether it's your family, you must always say, I must ask my husband first for permission. Or you even said, no, you can just ask him whether can we come and attend the family gathering. And I know everybody like, oh, we're not going to your husband. Definitely, it means it's a no for it's a no for you. So I think those boundaries, it's just respecting and protecting your husband. Um, when in my family, anyone can say anything, but they cannot speak about my husband in any way, because I'm there to protect and to shield him. And which is what also I expect from his side of his family, that he's always there to protect and shield me. In that way, then we've set boundaries that, you know what, you cannot speak or disrespect my husband in front of me, because this is my person. He is me. In that way, you've already put that boundary to say you respect. Second, it's money. I think most relationship, money is an issue. As Black people, we have so much black tax, because everybody wants to take from you. When you are the least successful in the family, then you have everyone asking from you to a certain point that you can even bleed, and no one will notice that now you are bleeding. There are times when my husband is like, yo, we don't have money, or our car is broken, or we need maintenance. And he will say, have you realized that there's no one we can call and ask for money? But when people want something, we are the first one they call, and we are always giving. So now we started setting boundaries and prioritizing. Let's not get involved in that family. Let's not support financially. We'll pray for them. We are there, but we don't have, because now we ended up taking everything that was supposed to sustain the family, trying to give to our families, where when we need that support, they are nowhere to be found for us.
Now, as Christians, we are taught that our identity is in Christ. How can couples ensure that each partner's God-given purpose and calling is not overshadowed by the marriage, but instead nurtured within it?
I think one thing we understand that marriage, it started biblically, like I said, the sort of Adam and Eve. And I always say, in marriage we are sustained by grace and we are sustained by the weight. So for my family, maybe it's easy because we are both Christians. So it makes it easier for us, because we share the same values. There is no point where my husband will be saying this is what we need to do, and not pray. So even our children, we are raising them in the house of the Lord. They know that church is a lifestyle. Every Sunday, we are expecting you in church, whether you are sick, whether you are feeling tired, be tired in the house of the Lord. We drag you there because that's the lifestyle that we are teaching them. But I think also what is then very important, when you are, do not force. I always say, so sometimes you get married and you think you can change someone. and become what you want. Because I'm a Christian, I have a calling. I was told I'm going to be a pastor. I'm expecting my husband to be a pastor too. And you cannot change someone. I found you one delay, you are old, you have 32 teeth, you are your own person. I can never change you this is your personality and your belief. So have the conversation before you do. So listen, I'm a Christian. Every Sunday, I want to see myself in the house of the Lord. How do you feel about that? I always say, if you as long as your husband does allows you to go and worship the Lord, allow Christ, let him see the Christ through you so that he can also follow you. Sometimes we want to force people to believe, especially in relationship, in what we are believing in, or to buy in what how I'm seeing my Christ, instead of allowing my husband. My husband will always say, sometimes I don't understand how you guys pray, because your behavior doesn't reflect Christ. Then I will take a step back and say, what is it that I've said that it's making him to doubt the Christ in me? Because for him, I don't have to read the Bible for him to be convicted. He needs to see the Christ by my action. So immediately when I'm not in my position, immediately like, you are coming from church. Yeah, but you are not behaving like someone who just received the weight. It means immediately it's a
Sure.
trigger. I need to repent. I need to take a step back and represent Christ in a way that he will see Christ through me, because I am a Christ and also I represent Christ in each and everything that I do.
You speaking about your husband seeing the Christ in you as a reflection. Now, nowadays, women are very much outspoken. Women are not afraid to express their opinions. Women are not afraid to rectify what they don't feel has been done right to them. Now, what is the most important, effective way of communication that you have learned that it works in your marriage? Not communicating for the sake of being quick to respond to a person, but communication in terms of hearing, comprehending, and understanding your partner fully.
First, don't speak if you are angry, because you will regret what you've said. And there are certain things, once you say them, you'll never be able to take them back. Second, always have respect at the back of your mind. So when I say something to you, Tabi said, I should also allow what the words that I'm speaking, if they were spoken to me, how will I feel like? How will I receive them? Because we are quick to speak and sometimes realize later that, you know what, the way I said to my husband, he's not supportive, he doesn't understand, he's delaying my progress. I feel like I only realized once I let it sink and he asked me, when exactly have I not been supportive of you? When exactly have I done all the things that you are saying? So respect should be the base and the core of each and every conversation that we make as couples. Two, I always said, you communicate with understanding. You communicate not with an answer already. It's like when you go to pray to God and you already say, instead of asking God and thanking Him and waiting upon Him, because in His perfect time, He's going to grant whatever you are praying for. But then I go to my husband and say, I need to buy a car. Then I wake up tomorrow, I go and buy the car. Did I really communicate my decision of buying a car to him? Was he involved in that decision making? Did we have a conversation? How much will it cost? Which car do you want? I always say he know car better. He'll always say you are always on the road. Safety is very important. Fuel consumption is very important. Did I allow him to be part of the conversation? Or I said what I wanted as a way of bypassing to say tomorrow, I told you, while I never told him. I never gave him an opportunity to also share his views and his advice. So it is very important that when we communicate, we allow the other person to digest. My husband, I always, and sometimes when I speak to couples, I always say, men, they process. Allow them to process. If I want to fix my kitchen unit, I must tell him today, and then allow him to go and process and make it his own idea, and not rush him into coming to that decision. And once he's like, I think we must fix the unit, I don't say, remember I told you a month ago, like, you can you say that there is definitely a need that we need to fix that? What do you think? Who would you recommend to do that? Men, they want to be men, they want to lead, they want to be heard. So I think as women, we are really outspoken, even when it's not necessary. And when we start regretting everything that we said, we're like, we wish we can just disappear into a thin air.
Well, man, I'm laughing as you are speaking because it's like you are literally describing me as well. We really do need time to process things. We like see the bigger picture at a later stage. And we always have that conversation with my wife. Now, the Bible talks about being equally yoked. How can this principle help couples maintain both unity and individuality?
It's understanding, like I said, your pain, it's my pain, your success, it's my success, regardless of who I am. There are, I think what I've learned is how I deal with situations. It's very different to how my husband deal with them. And after being together for 20 more than 20 years, you really understand that, you know what, when I submit anything to him, I need to give him enough time. And I also learned also how to put other things in a quicker way, so that and assist him to reach a quicker decision, because I cannot wait forever. There are instances where I need instant supportive, instant response from him. So you need to understand, if there's a loss in his family, it's my loss, because I agreed when I left home to say, you are now, your family is my family. The same when it happens to also the side of my family. The other day I said to him, you must tell me if you don't want me anymore. I think you must just take me back home. And he was laughing, said, why? I'm like, I remember you took me home, you said to my dad you'll afford me. So if I'm just too much for you now, you feel like I'm a burden. Take me back home, because at home they want me. And then he kept quiet. He never responded. And I did something, and it's like, I must take you home so that they can teach you how to deal with this issue. So you see, he's bringing up something that I said in another way. Then I've learned, oh no, we are equally yoked. We are one person. Whatever we go through, we pray for things together. We are fighting the same battles. If there is a spiritual warfare, it's not going to impact him as much as he's an individual person, but it's also going to impact him, the fact that we are in oneness. So that immediately it means his war and my war, even any difficulties, whether it's witchcraft or anything, it definitely does affect the other partner.
Very interesting indeed. Um, as couples, as partners, we come from different backgrounds and we have witnessed love in different forms. Now, you come into a relationship, you come into a marriage with this particular person who understands love the way that he witnessed love, and you want to be loved in a particular way. And you feel that when he does certain things, it seems as if he's not loving you correctly, or what we call now, there's a thing that's called love language. How important is fully understanding your partner's background and the things that he was not exposed to, certain levels of love that he was not exposed to? It comes to money as well, the finances. We come from different households. From my household, my parents used to buy everything in cash or lay-by. From your household, you come from a lot of credits and all those, and now we merge into this union. And now you're coming with your things. I want to do things my way, how I grew up, and you want to do things the way that you were taught. How do you handle situations like that in your
I
marriage?
think the first thing we need to understand that we are not the couple that is on social media or in a soapy. That couple that always buying each other roses, those couples that they wear matching outfits, those couples that are always posting pictures, holding each other, doing everything. We understand that we are two unique individuals. Because we are two unique people, it means how we build this family, it's according to our personalities. Two, it's according to also our finances. I remember when I met my husband, I used to love flowers a lot. And I will say, my love language is you buying me a bouquet each and every month. And then because he wanted to impress me, he will even book them in advance, even if he's working out of town. There'll be flowers delivered. And then one day he said, our relationship needs to graduate now. I'm not going to send you flowers. I wanted to show you that I can buy you flowers, but are they changing my love? Do you feel better when you're looking at a bouquet? I'm like, no, actually they are smelling. I don't love the smell of flowers when they stay for long. And then it had to be a conversation so that we then grow and agree that, you know what, even if I get a bouquet once a month or whenever, it's fine with me. The second one, it's we have our me time. We still do take vacation, just the two of us without the children, because we understand that the relationship is a work in progress and it's a daily work in progress. For us to be able to be in a quiet space with no phones, with no social media, with no children running up and down, it's very, very important. Also, it has assisted us to understand that, you know what, the way I have grown into loving you, expressing my love is totally different than when I met you 20 years ago. It is very important then that you understand and you also create your own love language. Don't be inspired by people that you don't know their background. I always say, social media, if we can follow social media, most of us would have divorced because it's a birthday, they buy you a car, to be saying. I'm like, you, one delay has money. What's wrong with you? Why are you not buying me a car? Because you see, but then we understand that no. A car is not something that you need now because I'm staying with you full time. I know that you just need a chocolate. It will make you happy, it will fulfill you, and it will be the best gift that I've gave my wife. So we need to build our own language according to what we can afford, according to our lifestyle and personality, and also never get tired of each other. Text each other, call each other, like every small things. Even if my children are not well, my husband is out of town. He's the first person like, I think this one is getting a flu. Small thing. Even if when I have a headache, because then you are bringing the other partner into your own space and they grow with you and they understand you better. So social media and Bowandile, what they do for their spouse is them. They can dress and go shopping together, attend events together. I must not expect my husband to do that because he's not that kind of a person.
Wow, so much download of wisdom in tonight's session. And Tabi, I'm like thinking, Lord, we like need a session 2 of this discussion, honestly. Now, in today's world, marriages face outside pressure from work, be it family, society. How can couples stay true to their values and keep their unity and individuality as well?
I think one, it's not forgetting why you got married in the first place. Of course, pressure will come from all angles, especially when you are together. And also there will be these small voices. If I was used to receiving flowers, when my husband stopped buying me flowers, people they think he doesn't love you anymore. This marriage, I can see there are cracks. And then they start spreading those things into the relationship to a point that I start to see that I know that I think it doesn't love me anymore. So you need to make sure that you don't lose the why you got married together. What is it that you wanted to build outside the children? Right now, our youngest, she's 13. We are having a conversation that soon we are going to be alone in the house. What are we going to do? So that's the conversation that we are starting to have now. Like I'll get tired. Who's gonna cook every day? No, I think we need to start making a roster and adjusting. So those are the small things that you will take them lightly, but they have a high impact because once the children are not there to wash the dishes every day, and my husband doesn't want to wash them because we never had that conversation, it's going to affect our relationship at the end of the day. So we have to understand, when we got married, you never said you wanted a housewife. You knew very well that I'm a career woman. So why now are you expecting me to be a housewife? When I go to work, I come back, my husband, he's home, I expect him to start cooking. He cannot then sit and wait for me to say, yeah, wife, I paid Lobola. Come and start
Yes.
cooking. Like, did I
Yes.
go with your pots? The other day, I'm like, oh no, we're having an event at work. I'm eating there, guys. You must cook it. Like, no, no, we did not take. What are we cooking? I'm like, oh, your fridge is there, my guy. Open your fridge. Look, do I have the pots? Like such things. Understand? Let your husband get used to doing this thing. And I was saying, you know what? You used to cook when we were a boyfriend and a girlfriend. What's wrong with you today? Like when we got married, the roles changed. But I also understand that according to the norms, it's understandable that a wife must cook. But the other day I said to my husband, you must bake. I feel like eating cakes. Go and bake. And he went and baked for me. And I was sitting there and they were burning. I didn't tell him the oven is burning. I just kept quiet. Like, you didn't remind me. I'm like, you're watching soccer and we are baking. It doesn't work well. So such things, it's very interesting when you are married, and it's important.
Hmm. Now, Suzanne, most successful marriages require give and take. What would you say to a spouse that feels heavily worn out and empty from always giving and not receiving in return? A spouse that is saying, at this moment, it is difficult for me to determine who am I in the we.
Okay. I think you will feel empty if you've defined yourself about the marriage. I'm not just a Mrs. Zondi, but I'm Cezanele. So you must always find yourself within the marriage so that you don't lose who you are. And by me saying so, if I know myself, I know my strength, I know what I want at a particular given time, then there'll be no uh, a time where I will feel like I'm worn out. I feel like I'm heavily burdened by this relationship. We have strict roles in my home. My husband, he disciplines. That's his role, and he cannot come tomorrow and say, I know, I feel like, yo, every time I must be the one who's like disciplining the children. And on the other side, my responsibility is to make sure that whenever there's a parents meeting, I'm there. If he's not available, whenever the sports activities, I'm there full time as a parent, because he always say, yo, I get tired, and I know he's not a patient person. If you are saying we are starting a session at 7 and it's 2 minutes past 7, he would have left and say, ah, no, no, we are not serious, because he's always time conscious. So we complement each other, and also according to our personalities and our qualities, so that you don't feel like you are heavily burdened in the relationship, you are worn out, you are bringing too much more than the other partner. And also, most importantly, in Tabiseng, always bring the best of yourself in a relationship. Once you bring
Hmm.
half of yourself, then definitely it's going to compromise the love that you both have. So you must always overachieve when you are married. And that makes the other partner also be encouraged to also overly. If, like I said, my husband is the one who's disciplining our children. My daughter, I feel like, his dad loves him too much. So I've started the role now of disciplining her unaware, because I'm like, this one I can see is going to spoil her. So I need to now, the roles need to shift. We don't have the conversation that they are shifting, but because we understand each other, and I'm seeing, I don't want to express it to him, and he'll be feeling like, why are you making it my responsibility? Because now every time when it's this must be done, I'm the one who must do it. So it's all about understanding each other and working together.
And what advice would you give to someone who feels lost in their marriage?
Find yourself. Where did you lose yourself? You cannot be lost. You are the one who lost yourself. Where are you in the journey? Where are you in the partnership? What is it that you've immediately, when I identify that I've lost myself in the marriage, what is it that I've done? Because when we got married, I could feel the presence of my spouse. I could feel that we are in a relationship. I could feel that we are working together. So take a step back. I always say healing starts from you. No one can heal you unless you decide that you want to be healed. So no one can find you in a marriage until when now you go and find yourself. What is it that you said you were going to provide in this relationship that you are no longer doing it? Because that's where you find good. No, no, I think I'm lost. I cannot find you. I cannot feel you. If someone cannot feel you, what is it that you are doing for them to feel, for them to hear, for them to support? Until you communicate, the key word, you communicate, I feel like you are losing me. It doesn't mean that we must sit. I don't like phones because we can sit in one room, the other one is busy on their phone, the other one is busy on their phone. We are not having a conversation as a couple. That's when you will feel like I think this thing is not working for me. And I'm not saying stay in a relationship that it's no longer working for you. I think that is very important because we are experiencing so much GPV from both males and females because we sit in relationship that it's no longer working for you. Identify why is it no longer working for me. Can I fix this? Can we work it out? Do we need counseling? Do we need someone who's an elder that we look up to so that they can create a safe space so that we can find each other before we head into an angle that we don't want to?
That's very important what you said, that sometimes we stay in relationships that no longer work. Now, Susanele, what advice would you give to a wife that has lost the desire to become all that she had envisioned prior to marriage? And now, because she's married, all she focuses on is carrying out the vision that the husband
Okay.
carries.
I will say maybe it means your goals were not valid. It means you, as in Tabi saying, you when we met, you said you want to see yourself having these webinars, driving this conversation, being a speaker out there. Immediately when you got married, who told you to stop? Did your husband say, don't do it? Did you ever say, you know what, I'm having a session from 7 to 8. Please don't disturb me. I just need that hour. Sometimes we're expecting our spouses to play a role that really they never asked for it. Sometimes we are easy to say you contributed to my failure, while it's you are still your individual self. You still have your own ambition. Has at any point your husband said no? If then we are advising someone who's saying, I wanted to study and my husband is always telling me that we don't have finances, or I want to go and start something but he's not supportive. He's always saying you're not a good speaker, this is not for you, or then he'll affect my self-esteem. Then it's something else. But most of the time we are expecting our partners to be our God and create this miraculous manna in this day and age so that we can just wake up and eat and sleep, wake up and eat and sleep, and there's fresh manna. But now, reality is work on your own goals. Have you ever sat down and said, this is where I am, this is where I want to be? Have that simple conversation, and then you can come back and say, no, you are not supportive. I'm just a housewife. We like to too much adapt to being married, and want to be home. My husband must come back, see me cooking, see me dressed in a fast food with a dog, and he goes out there and he's seeing people who are good, who are dressed nicely. He comes home, he's seeing auntie. When he met you, you were this beautiful person, and then you're like, now he's affecting you not to become. Is he really affecting you not to become what you wanted to become? No, it's you. You
Mm.
are responsible for your own being. more than never allow marriage to define who you are. Immediately when you allow marriage to define who you are going to then lose yourselves.
Sure. Wow. And what role does respect play in keeping individuality in a marriage?
I think everybody wants to be respected, and respect is earned. Because respect is earned, it means we work on it. We make sure that I always say, you cannot receive what you did not give. Your spouse is not going to respect you if you don't respect him. He needs to feel respected so that he can reciprocate and start to respect me the way that I expect him to be. So we expect to receive what we are not willing to give. We shout at our spouse, and then when they shout back, we start to cry. But you were shouting 2 minutes ago, and he was not crying, and now he is shouting, you are crying. So never lose respect. I think I've spoken to it also before, to say you can never be in any relationship if you are not willing to respect the other person. You can never work on anything in life if you are not willing to respect and invest respect. The best investment that you can ever do for any relationship, for any business deal, you respect your partner, so that they can respect you, they can respect your assets, they can respect even your feelings. Because when I feel like I'm exhausted, I'm burnt out, I'm expecting him to respect that I'm exhausted and I'm burnt out. He cannot then say, no, 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 I can feel that you are exhausted, you are working out of time, but still I'm hungry. He's not respecting how I'm feeling right now. He's not listening to what I'm saying, and then I will feel neglected and burnt out, and it will affect what I'll be pouring out at that given time. So it is very important that we respect each other, and also we understand that our husband are our king. Our husband, they just need you to just respect and understand them, and then give them the title and submit. Then they will treat you well.
You know, Sis Zanele, in the relationships, we often always assume that your partner will know. Your partner is supposed to know. Your partner is supposed to understand. How dangerous are uncommunicated
Very.
expectations?
Because once you assume someone can read your body language, and they don't read it according to what you aspire, the message that you are driving upon, you are going to say he doesn't love me anymore. My husband, he always say, I'm not a prophet. I cannot like just look at you and see how you are feeling like, or what you want, unless you express yourself and say, this is how I feel right now in this relationship. This is how I feel like I'm drained. I feel like I'm expected to be a wife, to be in academia, to be, and he'll always say, then why are you doing all these things if they are no longer feeding positively in you? Because now you've put too much food on your plate, and then you are the one who've put everything, all this food in your plate, but then you're expecting him to come and eat your portion. Why did you pour or dish out more than you can chew? So take out some of the meat. Why put it, instead of putting a fish, chicken, beef, while you know very well that you are not a big eater? And then when you're not finishing this food, you want somebody else to come and help you. Don't do that. Allow yourself to take and handle things according to the grace that God has already given you. Then in that way, we are going to succeed in each and everything that you do. So we always expect our partners to, like, I'm married for 20 years. He's supposed to know when I'm dressing with a black dress how I feel like. Really? How will I know that today it's a black dress, and if it's a black dress, it means it's that time of the month? He cannot like assume, because as women we change. You know, women will always like, I sleep today, you go out to the salon, you come up here a different woman because you've changed your hairstyle. And I wouldn't know go to this hairstyle when you have this one. It's like, it's a no-go. You are very not a happy person. Or when you sleep, today you are sleeping like this way. So I think it's all about expressing yourself verbally, and also body language. I think it's after years of learning and understanding each other. I know when my husband doesn't want to be disturbed, I can just say something and I can see he doesn't want to be disturbed, and then I'll just move. And then I'll come back when I can see that he is in a better mood.
And how can couples protect their spiritual life or spiritual identity while managing a busy life? Just maybe from your own experience, what has worked for you?
You are never too busy for God. You are never too busy for spending time with God. Like I said, Sunday it's we are in church in my family, except for my husband. I must say, he doesn't go to church unless he wants to. But for me and the children, he insists you must go to church, you must tithe, you must serve in the house of the Lord. It's a norm. It's what is expecting from myself as his wife and the children to do. So what is very important is that we respect him, and we respect what he believes in, and I also respect what I believe in, because he at no given point he has ever tried to change us. This day our children, we are always laughing and saying, yo, you guys, the Jesus that you've received it like is the only Jesus out there. Because they are, when we are having a conversation, oh yes, Jesus, our youngest son, even if he's eating a sweet, he'll be like, let's pray for the sweet. Father, bless this sweet. And I'm like, hi, Bo. Now we are blessing a sweet. But it's such an interesting, from a parent's perspective. We've prayed our children to be like that. I always say my husband is my mentor, but he's also my prophet, because he sees things before I see them in the spiritual realm. And he will tell me, and but I'll be ignorant until it happens. And he'll say, remember, I told you. But at that particular time when I was telling you that this is what is happening spiritually, or you are lacking on your spiritual life. So we do things together. We have time when we are saying we are fasting and praying. When we are fasting and praying, we have what we are praying for. As a family, we are standing together today. We are praying for help. It's we are standing together in one accord, speaking to God in our different corner, but understanding that the end goal at this at the end of the day is the same, and for the family. Yes. Hello. Yes.
Can
Yes.
you hear
Yes.
me,
I can.
Zanele? Okay. Now, as a mentor, when you are a mentor, you work with many people, and many people look up to you. How do you make your children understand that as much as you are assisting others, they also that's not taking away from who you are to
Um.
them?
I think my children, they've got to understand and appreciate the person that I am. I'm not just a mentor. I also have a lot of spiritual children. Some they even come and visit me at home, like they'll come sleep over. My grandchildren will come and visit. They've understood that, you know what, you can be our own mother, but you are mother to many, and in that way, I don't neglect them. I make sure that I'm there when they need me, because I don't want them to reach a point where they say you are always there for other people, but you are never there for us. I always say, children, they will say, you know what, to be a PK, our parents will give more time to the church and forget that we are still their family and children. So the same thing goes for me being a mentor. I cannot be there for everyone and not be there for them. They are my first priority as much as everyone out there. It's my first priority. So I don't compromise when they have activities. I still fetch my daughter from school because I want to have a conversation when they come back from school. So those small things and the time that you spend with them, they understand. I have a very strict schedule. It's my mentorship session today, for an hour. It means when I come back, don't disturb me. It's just an hour. I need to catch up with my mentee. After that, I'm all yours. We can have the conversation. When I always say, if you can see me at home, and be saying like, yo, I'll come to you like this. We dance. I'm their best friend. I was saying the other day to my daughter, the day you start dating, I must be the first person that you must tell me that this boy is looking at you, because I'm now trying to build a friendship so that she can be open. As much as that's the same thing that we want with our mentees. I cannot mentor you on the success of your business and not mentor you on Tabiseng well-being. The success, you are the business. If your emotional intelligence is not in a good space, no matter how best mentor am I, you at the end of the day, whatever goals you are setting, you need to go and implement. And if you are not in the correct mindset, there's nothing that you are going to achieve, because already you've seen yourself as a failure. So when I come into your space, I change that. It's all about the mental health. I always say, when I come into your space, I want to build confidence in you, so that even when I'm not there, you believe that, you know what, I'm born to succeed. And I remember what my mentor said we must do. And I remember also what I committed to achieve. And I'll make sure that I make my mentor proud. One of my mentee was failing to adapt and to for time management. And then he sent me a message and said, I feel like I am disappointing you, and I'm failing you because I'm not able to catch up or achieve the goals that we've set. I've like and I responded in two sentences. I said, I acknowledge and I appreciate your awareness, your self-awareness. The second one, you are not failing me. We are married in community of property, me and you. If you fail, I fail as a mentor, because every time when you need to refer me, or when I need to speak about the success of my mentees, if you felt like she was the mentee and look, that business failed, so it does affect me and my credibility. So your failure becomes my failure. So my children and my mentees, we have a balanced lifestyle and a very healthy relationship. My children will tell you that people can say whatever, ma'am. You are always home with me. I've never at a given point where I needed a parent and you were not there, and you were in an event. I cancel event when it's any family matters. Because my children also are very important, and they are not gonna be children forever. So I can still see me after.
And maybe how can for newlyweds, new couples, how can they handle, the expectation of extended family members whilst protecting the identity of their marriage?
I think what is key, maybe the how part. It also depends when you are starting. In this day and age, when we get married, we get married with children. So already, it's no longer just Ntabiseng alone. It's Ntabiseng and
Yeah.
someone, and also one delay and someone, and we are building a family together. Your how, it's totally different from a Tabiseng and one dealer who are two single people, because your family dynamics and the challenges that you are facing are totally different. So you need to have a clear communication lines together, so that you don't compromise the relationship. I always say, when we got married with my husband, he wanted a wife, and I was not ready to have a husband, because I already had a child. And for me, it was like, men are not honest human beings out there. So when he came into my space, I was like, yo, he wants to just take advantage and leave me with another child. I'm not coming, brother. I'm not interested. And he also had his own children. So I always say, from our first day, after we got married, our honeymoon was parenting. We wanted to bring these three different human beings to say, I'm the mother, he is the father, regardless of anything. And that's how we've raised our children, to say, these are your parents, whatever they say, it goes regardless. So your how, it also depends on the dynamics that you find yourself in. So do not want to handle your how according to what somebody else say. I always say, there's no manual for a marriage. Why there's no manual? It's because we are two different people. What works for me in my own home might not work for you, because your personalities are totally different. So do not listen to this conversation today and say, says Anele said this works for their marriage. That's why now they've been married for 25 years. But it's because we understand our personalities. We've also got to understand each other in such a way that you can fill in the gaps. When someone wants to say something, I always say, I know this is how my husband feels about this issue, because it took us years to adapt and understand each other. So your how will always it will always depend on your dynamics. Do you in your marriage? Don't do what other people say. What we say is just to help you when you are overcoming, to say they overcame, they are still together. It's not all a bed of roses. There are days when it's a silent treatment, there are days where we argue, but what matters at the end of the day is that we said we want to make this work, and our vows were that we said to each other, until death do us part.
Susanella, before I let you go, you're speaking about children. I'm raising two boys. So, should I get married, obviously it's going to be a blended family. And I believe that the conversation within a marriage of how many children do we want to have
Yes,
is very important. And how did that go about with your husband to say, okay, fine, you coming, I'm
yes.
coming with a child, you're coming with your own child, have maybe one or maybe two. How
Mm.
important is that not only for people for blended families, but even for people who are having kids, biological kids, as themselves as a couple? How important is the conversation of saying we want so many kids
I
and
think for
that's it?
us, we only wanted one together. We said if we have one, we are fine. However, I always said I wanted a girl.
Mm.
So the one that we had was a boy. And they were like, I can't just give up now. Let's try. Maybe the last one is going to be a girl. So our eldest, it's a daughter, eldest daughter, and the last one is a daughter. So you can see it's such a balanced scale. It is very important that you have this
Mm.
conversation before you do. Exactly, like there are people who are saying, once I get married, I no longer want children. We are in a society where people before, especially with the high teenage pregnancy, you find a young child at 25, they already had 3 children with Caesar, which means they cannot have another child anymore. And this person is still going to get married. What is going to happen, and who should I get married to? Should I leave my children at home? Should I start a family? How do I start a family? Because according to the doctors, there's no way I can, but there are other alternatives we can adopt. So it is very important that we have these uncomfortable conversations, so that we don't fight and expect others to change what we knew very well that we no longer want to do.
Sure, Susanele, I've learned so much from you. Like, I've learned a lot from you and your experience in marriage. Like, it's propelling me to move in
You
that
have to.
direction.
Not to. We're praying about it. It must happen. Jesus name.
So thank you so much. I've learned a lot. I've really learned a lot. Thank you so much for opening yourself up for us and teaching us and having this sensitive conversation with us. Thank you. Thank you. You have bestowed so much knowledge that we're taking away and we will implement it. Wandile is also married. I think he also took a couple of things for himself. So thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
having me. And let me tell you, marriage is such a beautiful thing. But it requires so many things. You need to bring it on, you need to compromise, you need to respect, and also never lose yourself. I'm Cezanele and I remain Cezanele. Regardless what my husband says, and he is also Dudus and he'll remain Dudus. So we respect each other, and those boundaries are very important. Before you do enter, be saying have a very uncomfortable conversation, and one delay have 20 and 20 more years.
Oh, thank you so much, Ma. Honestly, you've just shared your wisdom, your faith, your heart with us. You know, your words have not only encouraged us to protect our individuality in marriage, but also to just center everything on Christ, who is the foundation of our love, I believe. Thank you
Thank you.
again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank your husband and your children for us. We are humbled for the hour that they gave us to you.
Truly
They gave
appreciate
you
it.
to us. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you, and keep well and blessings.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, and to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us for such an insightful conversation. May God